Hey everybody, welcome to Television. This is episode 2 of our new web production. I'm Marlea Clark, CMO, and Television is a quick look into what's happening this week for brands in these rapidly changing times. It's also a way to connect while physically distancing, something we at Stella all miss these days. I truly hope all of you are doing well. We kicked off episode 1 last week with Amazon, and that marketplace obviously remains of key interest to brands. So I'm thrilled to have Rina Yashayeva, our wonderful VP of Marketplace Strategy, back this week to focus on Amazon advertising, including what she's seeing in terms of performance and conversions on the platform, as well as how brands can optimize for the current moment. Rina will answer questions at the end of the session if we have time, so please submit them as we go in the panel. But also feel free to reach out to Rina or to me anytime with questions about Amazon, brand growth in general, or how consumer feelings and behaviors are changing. We look forward to continuing this conversation. Let's get started. Hey, Rina.
Thank you so much, Marlea. I hope you guys can all hear me and see me. Happy Friday. Thank you all so much for joining Television episode 2. I'm here to chat about the latest on Amazon. As Marlea mentioned, we kicked off last week by exploring consumer behavior and the shifts that we've been seeing due to COVID-19 on Amazon as essential items really began to take priority in the market. However, today we'll take a look at Amazon advertising. Campaign performance is definitely being impacted by changes in that same consumer behavior. So your Amazon ad campaigns will have to adapt as well. We'll start off with the shift in the market as it relates to Amazon search. Then we'll take a look at ways to optimize your business. And finally, we'll look at some other ideas outside of just search advertising. Over the past 4 weeks, we have seen a notable shift in Amazon advertising. We know that brands deemed essential items, such as household items, medical supplies, I'm talking about the face masks, the hand sanitizers, these are the products that have seen an increase in demand, as well as products relating to at-home entertainment like gym equipment, toys for kids, etc. However, for all other brands that are not necessarily essential items, the results have been mixed. So at Stella Rising, we do have a strong focus on beauty brands. So up on the screen, I have an example of a beauty brand and how its performance has been impacted by COVID-19. So in pink is advertising revenue. So we can see starting from February, revenue has been pretty steady. And in the middle of March is when it began to see a decline. No coincidence here. The line in black is the search index for coronavirus for searches on Google. So we see that March 12th was really that date when we saw the search peak, up 80% to the day before. We see that campaigns for this specific client were paused for a few days. And on April 1st, when they came back up, the searches began to increase as coronavirus searches on Google began to decrease. So that gap in between them is now lessening as sales are beginning to normalize now that we're already in week 4 or 5. Our standard approach to Amazon advertising campaign structure is to maintain campaigns that support every stage of the purchase funnel. So your upper and mid funnel campaigns on Amazon are supported by sponsored display and your non-brand campaigns. Here we're seeing that click volume has remained fairly flat, while conversion rates are the ones taking a decline. For your lower funnel tactics, your branded campaigns, here it's the opposite. So your click volume is down while conversion rates are fairly flat. And because clicks are down, demand is down, we're seeing that revenue is taking a hit as well. One of the major impacts to campaigns right now, besides demand, of course, is inventory. So Amazon is prioritizing space in its fulfillment centers to make room for those essential items that we talked about. Because of that, they're actually not allowing products that are not deemed essential items to ship to Amazon. So if you are in a beauty, a grocery, a health and personal care, you are still allowed to ship to Amazon right now. However, your products may be delayed 2 weeks, 3 weeks, up until April 27th, that week right now. So the consumer is seeing about a 2-3 week delay when going on the products. However, if you are not able to ship to Amazon and your products are out of stock, what can we actually do as it relates to advertising? So the good news is that Amazon actually optimizes for this. So any products that are in your sponsored products and your display ads, your campaigns will automatically pause when they go out of stock. No action needed from you. Any ads linking to a landing page where there are less than 2 ASINs in stock, same thing, your campaigns will automatically pause, no additional action needed. But if you're linking to a brand store, here it's actually interesting because campaigns will just continue to run regardless of inventory levels. And this is okay because you are less reliant on inventory levels because your brand store is actually a place where you can show your entire catalog. So if one ASIN is out of stock, you can certainly point your campaign to something else that is in stock. But your brand store actually does have the option to just hide completely any out of stock ASINs. And we will talk a little bit about brand stores as we move on. So now let's look at how we can actually optimize these campaigns, especially if your ASINs are still in stock, but they're just delayed. The first step, which I don't have listed on here, but I do think it's most important, don't panic. We know that there are shifts in the market, however, not a time to make any rash decisions. Instead, we're taking the time to evaluate, look at what's actually working, break it down by the campaign level, by the keyword level, and evaluate what is working. We are in our clients' campaigns every single day. The beauty of Amazon advertising is that it is a real-time bidding auction. The data is in real time and we're able to action accordingly. So right now we are recommending a temporary shift in strategy. We're reducing spend on less efficient upper funnel campaigns and dedicating our budget to the most efficient ones. So the campaigns that are working, that are driving conversions profitably, let's keep spending. We're increasing those campaigns that are driving conversions. Most of our clients do have a specific goal, a specific ROAS goal, whatever that is. If you don't know what that is, take the time to analyze the data for the past few weeks, for the past few months, figure out what that goal is and what you're interested in maintaining. And from there, begin to spend accordingly. However, the campaigns that are not working, we're suggesting to decrease spend on less efficient campaigns. So for your upper funnel, your non-brand keywords, any campaigns that are not meeting that threshold, we do suggest to pause. So for some clients, this is just some of their campaigns if the other half are profitable. And for other clients, this means completely pausing non-brand. And that's okay. Even if we're sacrificing revenue for efficiency, that is okay because we want to make sure that every dollar truly takes you far and every dollar counts right now. However, your lower funnel, your branded keywords, our standard strategy is to always fully fund your brand keywords. And we do recommend to continue this strategy right now. So these are the people who are already looking for your brand. These are the hand raisers. They are the ones who are interested. And these are the people who are okay. They are willing to wait 2 to 3 weeks to get their products because they're interested in your brand regardless. So we do recommend to continue funding them. If you can continue to fully fund them, that's our number one recommendation. If not, then let's look at partially funding them as long as they're profitable. But even as we react during a pandemic, let's keep in mind the best practices that still apply all year round. So dynamic bidding on Amazon allows Amazon to actually lower your bids in real time when your ad may be less likely to convert to a sale. So rather than just sticking to those fixed bids that you set yourself, Amazon will do the bidding up and down for you. Number 2 is negative keywords. So negative keywords allow you to remove products that aren't relevant to your keywords. The example that I always think of is if you are bidding on eyeglasses. If your product is an eyeglass and you're bidding on the term glasses, you don't want wine glasses to be showing up. So you can add wine as a negative keyword. Right now, we know that wine is actually doing better than sunglasses. However, just some tactics that you can use, add those negative keywords to make sure that you are only spending your money on the keywords that are most relevant and likely to convert. And lastly, as we're closely monitoring ad campaigns, even if your performance is seeing a decline, now is actually a good time to see what other programs Amazon has in store. We briefly touched upon Brand Store a little earlier on, one of my favorite Amazon programs. If you have one, now is a great time to give it a facelift. Maybe you have some extra ASINs to add on. Maybe you have new lifestyle imagery you want to feature. It's actually the only place on Amazon that a customer can see your full catalog end to end. And the goal here is to drive consumer trust, drive brand awareness, and you can drive traffic to the brand store from your advertising. Number 2 is Amazon Posts. So Posts is very, very new. It still is in beta in the US. And Amazon Posts is essentially if Amazon and Instagram had a baby, the example I have is of an actual baby. So this is a new browsing, shopping experience based on lifestyle imagery. So this is Amazon's attempt for discoverability. We all know that Amazon is not a browse heavy site, it is a search heavy site. However, they are taking advantage of the fact that they do have the brands, they do have the product, and they want to increase that discoverability by allowing customers to shop feeds of content that the brand has curated. And the best news is you don't need new content here. You could just reuse whatever you're putting on social. And third is Amazon Live. Amazon Live allows you to interact with shoppers in real time by live streaming and having the consumer just shop directly through the ASINs. There are two ways to do this. The first is paid, and this is essentially like Amazon and QVC. You do work with Amazon influencers, they promote your product. Right underneath that, you can shop directly from the page into your ASINs. The budgets are about 40 to 50K for that time slot. However, there's also the option to do this for free. We always like that. The Amazon Live Creator app is essentially a version of YouTube. You can create a video at any moment in time. I can create one right now. It is live streamed to your consumers. It lives on your detail page and on amazon.com/live. If you guys haven't seen it yet, it is a pretty interesting experience. So these are some of the things that you can do in addition to advertising. But to end here, I will say that Amazon advertising is just as important as ever before. I don't think that it's a time to pull back on spend right now. We think that it's just a time to have your dollars work harder. And I guarantee you, your competitors are still out there and they're still bidding. So it's important for us to have a presence as well. So during this uncertain time, building a strategy that will set you up for success now will only be much more important once that demand begins to increase in the next few weeks. I will open it up to Q&A. So you guys do have a question panel box in your GoToWebinar script. Feel free to add in some questions there. And we do have time for a few.
Hey, Rena, that was so great. And I see that there are a lot of questions. So I'm going to kick it off with one and then turn it over to you. The first one that I got was, what do you think about running deals and promotions during this crazy time?
Great question. Actually, something we've been talking about with our clients right now on a weekly basis. And, some clients are saying that, now might not be the time to push products, and other clients do want to keep business as usual. So I think that as long as we're doing it tastefully, we can still continue business as usual. However, right now we are a little bit limited in what we can do with deals and promotions. So the number one deal that we usually do on Amazon are vendor powered coupons. We love this because you can limit the budget. If I set my budget at $1,000, I will never go above that. However, Amazon has actually suspended all coupons until April 5th. Today's April 10th, and they have not reinstated that. So we don't have a time frame as to when that's going to come back up. So my suggestion is to try deals that are outside of vendor-powered coupons. We can do a price discount, which will just lower your price entirely. Or another one that we're loving right now is the social media promo code. Right now, consumers are more engaged with social media than ever before. So by creating your social media promo code, you can make it so it starts with a discount, let's say it's 15, and then, Mother's Day, 15 Mother's Day, put it on social, send it out to your consumers, and then you can track that. Our next big event that we kind of had slotted for all of our clients is Mother's Day. So Mother's Day is essentially in a month. It's in the beginning of May. So we were going to have promos running in that first week of May, the 3rd through the 10th. And we are still going forward with that, especially in beauty, especially in, health and personal care. These categories are relying on Mother's Day to see that spike. And even if you are social distancing from your mom, this could be a good opportunity to just send something through the mail, through Amazon. So I say, let's do it. Let's make promos and deals part of our strategy. Just make sure we're shifting because we're limited in what we can do here.
Great, thank you.
Sure. Okay. I did have a question that said, we are new on Amazon this week and we can't do FBA, so we are doing FBM until that changes? Do we have any idea as to when that's going to change? So that's actually a strategy that we've seen many brands take right now. However, I do want to almost caution you to do that with, take it with a grain of salt. Any new brands right now or any new products that cannot ship to FBA. So we talked about those categories that are non-essential, and Amazon is blocking their shipments to their fulfillment centers. So FBM allows you to ship directly from your warehouse. So it's shipped and sold by Rena's Beauty. You're shipping it from your warehouse. However, the important thing to note here is that with FBM, you are now essentially responsible for the entire process, all the way from the consumer order, all the way to the consumer getting the product. And this can be dangerous. So we look at a few things here. We definitely look at operational capabilities first. Is your warehouse capable? Look at the past 30 days of sales. Is your warehouse capable of shipping out these orders on its own? The second thing is profitability. You are likely paying Amazon $2 to $5 to store your products and to ship them. Now, if you're doing this through FBM, you will be responsible for that cost yourself. So if your warehouse is in New Jersey, I live in New York, you ship it to me, you can get it to me in a few dollars. If your warehouse is in New Jersey, you ship it to somebody in California, you're incurring a cost that you didn't necessarily have before. And the last thing that I think is the most important is to pay very, very close attention to the metrics. You are now responsible for every single delay. You are responsible for if the products come back broken. If before we can blame that on Amazon and say the package was late, the package was broken, it was Amazon's fault. This time it is the fault of your account. And we don't want to risk getting our account shut down, but any wrong move, any metric that isn't filled at 100% actually does run the risk of getting your entire account shut down. And that's pretty dangerous, not a risk that we're willing to take. So I do think FBM is a good solution for the brands that do have the operational capability to do so. However, I do want to caution that you must keep a very, very, very close eye on how your FBM is actually being fulfilled weekly. Question came in that is there a recommended spend per day for advertising? So this is a good question. In terms of Amazon advertising, as a general rule of thumb, we usually recommend 10% of your revenue to go back into Amazon advertising. So this isn't always a hard and fast rule. It's not always 10%. Sometimes it could be 9, sometimes it could be 12. When it's 15, it's even better. However, we still think that right now that 10% does hold. However, you do have the option to adjust budgets on a daily level. So the good news here is whatever budget you set, so your monthly budget, you take 10% of whatever your monthly revenue is, you can divide it by your 30, 31 days, you come up with your daily spend that way. However, the good news is if today you see that that budget was actually not converting profitably, you always have the option to make that change in real time for today and then make that change for tomorrow. Everything is in real time and Amazon reacts to your changes immediately. Great question so far. Great question. So due to Amazon prioritizing essential products during this time, we've seen longer delivery times. How should we be messaging this to our customers? Absolutely true. So you are seeing longer delivery times. Amazon is delaying products 2 to 3 weeks to their consumers. Right now, most of our clients are in that April 27th time period. Originally, we were actually seeing that this wasn't affecting hazmat items. Now it is affecting hazmat items as well. However, one thing that is actually important to note, so Amazon's priority will always be the consumer. They want to make sure that no matter what happens, they get their product when they promise to them. So they would rather delay the order 2 to 3 weeks, knowing that they can meet that deadline, rather than still promise you a 2 to 3 Prime Day delivery and miss that. What's interesting though, is that even though they're promising 2 to 3 weeks, they're still getting their products on time. I placed an order for an item on Wednesday. It did say it was going to get here in 3 weeks. It still got there in 3 days. I was pleasantly surprised. I was certainly not disappointed. So I feel like consumers have actually began to figure this out. Great example of a client that we had a few weeks ago. So a few weeks ago, we began, so sales were fantastic, very, very strong sales. The week that Amazon began delaying their orders, they were delayed 2-3 weeks, we saw a dip of 50%. Our sales fell 50%. However, the next week, they kept getting pushed out, right? So now they are delayed an extra week. However, our sales picked up. Not only are our sales back up, but our sales for the past week were actually up 40% to the week before. And the reason being is that I think consumers are figuring it out. Everybody is buying on Amazon right now, actually more than ever. So they are realizing that, okay, it says 3 weeks, but I might still get it in 3 days. And remember that if they need it in 3 days, so the essential items are still shipping on time. So if it is 3 weeks, it's most likely a non-essential item, and the consumer is more likely to wait for that, especially the people who are looking for your specific products. So if you are doing messaging, if you're sending out, whether it's an email, whether you're posting on social, I would be clear with our customers. You can say that our products are delayed on Amazon 2 to 3 weeks out. However, we are still committed to service. We are still here for you with any questions. Make it business as usual. And we are seeing, I thought that it would have a stronger impact negatively than it actually does. But right now, our business has actually seen an increase in the past few weeks because consumers, it's now the new normal, right? So when Prime came out, nobody was used to 2-day shipping. We were all conditioned to 4-day shipping, 5-7-day shipping. So when 2-3-day shipping came out, we then became used to it. It's now the new norm. Now 2 to 3 week shipping is the new norm. So it's really about changing consumer mentality, consumer behavior, rather than making it seem like it's a problem. So I would almost spin it in a normal, positive light. Really great question. And I think these are all the questions that came through right now. I want to thank you guys so much. Really great questions today. Thank you so much for joining me as we chatted about Amazon, how it's impacting advertising right now. We're looking forward to seeing you next time on Stellivision. If you have any questions, my email is up on the screen. Feel free to shoot me an email. And I wish you well. I hope you guys stay safe, and we'll talk to you next time. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Rena. Please don't hesitate to reach out to Rena or to me, and stay tuned for next week's Friday episode of Stellivision, where our Chief Digital Officer, Brandon Hekel, is going to be presenting brand new category benchmarks our analytics team is seeing across category in the time of COVID, and offer some database predictions for marketers to help all of you move ahead in the months ahead. Thanks again. Wishing you a very safe and healthy weekend. Thanks a lot. Bye.